Good afternoon and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori and today we have on two members from Neighbor to Neighbor. Thanks for joining us on the show today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So real quick, do you both just want to introduce yourselves and the role that you play within the organization?
Sure. I'm Gabe. I'm the lead organizer for Neighbor to Neighbor in Lynn.
I'm Sarah. I'm part of the member for like 6 months now, and I'm proud of being part of Neighbor to Neighbor.
All right, fantastic. And we have talked to you before on the Lowdown generally about what you do, the really impressive outreach between housing, security, I have it all written down, transparency, everything else like that. But the main thing that you wanted to talk about today was the Electoral Policy Platform, which is what?
Yeah, so basically we care a lot about who represents the community and how they're representing us, and about the issues that are focused on in the local elections, because we know that our local officials are the people that make a lot of decisions that impact our lives. And so we've gone through this process of creating a platform so that we know that what we stand for as our membership, as sort of diverse working people in Lynn, and it has a number of sort of different points, but so that we can communicate clearly and see where the candidates stand on the issues that our folks care about.
Mm-hmm. Trying to connect between the elected officials and the people they represent, seeing if they represent the issues that you care about.
Yeah.
And Sarah, you said your big thing is housing, correct?
Yes.
So that's what you focus on mainly?
Yes.
And like what pieces of housing, like security?
Yeah, how our city has changed since after COVID, and people are crazy now thinking how they're gonna pay their rent, increasing every single month. So it's a big deal now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think Sarah's a member of our housing committee that's working on sort of pushing for to address the housing crisis, because like she was saying, it's like we have members who people aren't sure whether they're going to be able to keep living in the place that they're living because the rent is constantly going up, and the places that are available are not good quality, and there's all these new luxury condos, and people can't afford to stay in the places that they've been living.
Mm-hmm. You either have to pay $2,000 a month to get anything.
A studio apartment.
Yeah, studio apartment. You get one room.
Yeah. It's nuts. And I don't know if you want to share at all about what you're dealing with housing or other people you know about in the community.
I moved in 2013 from New York, and I see now the big difference between that time today, and it's like a really big, huge to how I'm gonna pay my rent. I don't know, but I live in the hood where the owner, they selling the buildings to renew it to people who can afford more money, they can pay more money. And my situation, I think, is something that gives me a lot of headache,
Mm-hmm.
thinking that I have to move one day soon because they're waiting for people like me to move so they can rent for other people. They can maybe it's hard.
Yeah.
No, which isn't a right thing to happen. No, it should be forced out, especially because of very unsustainable increases.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, we work also with a partner of ours is Lynn United for Change, and they work with a lot of tenants in the city, and they talk to people whose rent is raised $500, $600 a month, and it's like that's impossible for people a lot of the time.
Yeah, because it's not like you can then go into work and go, all right, I need to raise $1,000. No.
Just to pay my rent, which I can already barely pay. Yeah.
And I noticed that one thing that you mentioned in a lot of things is wanting to have people to have dignity in their jobs and their housing. So that seems to be another really big theme for you as well.
Yeah. Do you want to speak to that at all, Sarah?
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard when you have a regular job like me, and you have to divide your monthly payments to think, should I pay this? Should I buy food? It's a lot of things that come in my mind. Like, it's getting crazy every day. Just I never want to get eviction. So I say first my rent. If I don't eat, it's okay. But it's something that in my community, not only me, I think a lot of people, they're just dealing with, or you live with dignity or you just stay in the street.
Yeah, and I think it's like living, like all of these things with dignity. It's like we don't want people just to be surviving. We want people to be able to thrive and like have full communities and full lives and like spend time with their families, like where they're not like working 3 jobs just so they can stay in their apartment that that has rats and roaches and other crap that they have to deal with. And yeah, our members talk about it all the time. It's like what people are going through on a daily basis just to try to provide the best for their families. Yeah.
And there's definitely, at least we found, connections between mental health, emotional well-being, and also physical. I mean, there's connections between all of it that you're trying to really address.
Yeah, totally. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah. In my situation is one of those things that is really touched my heart when I used to be homeless in New York with nothing, and I came here thinking there's gonna be a better future for my kids, and after COVID, like, it's crazy. My mental health is sometimes here and there, and it caused me a problem with my kids because I only say I have to be good for them. And I don't know if you remember last time we went to the city hall, and one of my sign was saying, I want to live with dignity, but I want to be okay in here. And I try, but it's hard waiting for that moment just to have the rent control. I wish one day, right?
Yeah, no, totally. That's what we're fighting. That's one of the things we're fighting for. And I think, like you said, it's so tied together. If people like don't know whether they're going to be able to live in their place, and like for kids too, like people talk about like issues in the schools, like so much of like so many kids are in families either that are experiencing homelessness or that are in fear of homelessness or like don't have a stable home, and it's like all of these, like you said, all of these things are interconnected, and it's like how do we think about them comprehensively in a way that is really about realizing that our system does not provide people with the basic things that they need.
I want to ask something that happens to me like 2 months ago with my little one. He always said, Mom, why we live here? Mom, what happened? Why we don't move? And I don't know if you remember, it touched my heart because I say, Bambi, this is the only place that I can afford right now. And he said, but I want to have my own room because I live in a small studio apartment. And he's complaining all the time. He want to like do his stuff in his own room. But I say one day, because this is the only place that I can pay for now. And it's hard. Mentally, we are not okay, but we try,
Yeah, I mean, like Sarah is like an incredible mom, one of the most incredible moms I've met. And it's like, what are you supposed to do? She's working. Like, it's like, wait, there's only so much you can do as a single parent when the cheapest place you can find for a 1 bedroom is like over $1,600. Like, what are you supposed to do?
So what you said, and so what Gabe said does, it sounds like you are an incredible single mom and you do everything for your kids. Like you put everything towards them.
Yeah.
And for anyone who wants to get involved with other people in a similar situation as you, or any situation really, how would they like go about connecting with you to try to find others?
Yeah, I mean, they can call, my number is up there, they can call me, they can come by we have our member meetings are once a month. It's usually I didn't give you that information, but it's on our pages and stuff. It's usually the first Wednesday of the month, but usually people just reach out to me or to one of our folks, one of our members, and I think we go to different events, we show up in different places because it's really about building community and building power in the community, because I think we don't want just people don't want handouts, people don't want just more programs. We want a seat at the table so that we can say look, the community actually really knows what it needs, and the people closest to the pain are closest to knowing what the solutions are. give us a seat at the table, and we will bring our people, and we will have a conversation with you and sit down and figure out how we, come to these solutions. And that's kind of what we want to get across in this electoral platform, is we want people not just who say they believe in the things that we believe in, but are willing to actually take the grassroots, take people from the community seriously, and sit down with us and have a real conversation, which, that's what we want.
And it's a major year because it is an election year for you, a big one in the city. So you have so many candidates that you're looking at.
Yeah.
That's a big chance for you to say, okay, which ones would really maybe try to help us or give us this opportunity to have that conversation.
Right, exactly. Who will be an ally, who will stand up with us and stick their neck out for working people,
And, it feels like it's such a short time period, but we have to wrap up in a minute. Is there anything that I hadn't discussed or mentioned that you wanted to make sure we talked about?
Anything you want to share?
I think, in my opinion, all these candidates, they need to really pay attention to what happened, the crisis that we have now in the city, and a lot of drugs addicts, a lot of people homeless. They all need to come to. We all, as a community, we need to come together, because in summertime is the hard time. I live in the hood, and for me, it's hard to see how much people are in the street dealing with a really worse situation than mine. So I want they can compromise and say, we need to take care of our community. We need to work with our people, because my kids, for me, they are the future. And if my kids, they keep seeing that, they're gonna think that this is normal, this is okay. Yeah. Our candidate, they're never gonna fight for us. And it's something that I want one day to have a conversation with the mayor to see. They have to be control. They have to be under control. They have to be, because I think we deserve as a community. In my opinion.
Yeah. No, and I'll just add. I think that's really well said, Sarah. And I just to add to that, I think it's that's not the people who are experiencing substance use challenges, people who are experiencing homelessness, there's such a pervasive idea that it's people's internal fault, that the problem lies within the person. The problem is in the system, and it's hurting people, and that's why we need people in elected office who will work with the community to say, how do we change the system to really meet the need of what's going on? We can't place the blame within individuals who've been put in these situations in really, really terrible ways where you don't. It's just you're put in a lose-lose situation. So I think we really believe that if we can bring together the grassroots and those in elected office to come up with solutions and figure things out together, that's the path to a better, safer, more caring city.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely have the passion for it, and as I said, you've done really great work in the city, and I'm excited to see where you go from here. And thanks for talking about it with me.
Thanks so much for having us in.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Anytime. And once again, I'm Dani Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we will see you next week with more guests.